Hi, I'm Stuart from the Norfolk Honey Company, and welcome back to another of our MAISEMORE apiaries sponsored videos for 2017. Today we're going to be taking another look at the colony from last week's video where we appear to be queenless, and we've put a frame of eggs into that colony to see if they're going to produce some queen cells. If you've not seen any of our MAISEMORE apiaries sponsored videos, then check out the playlist where we have been introducing colonies into a new type of hive that I've not used before, which is one of the commercial poly hives. Traditionally I've used wooden hives, and we've been very kindly supplied with a range of commercial poly hives by MAISEMORE apiaries to check them out, test them and see how they work, and I'm particularly looking forward to running them through the winter and see how they perform compared with some of the wooden hives. So this is our MAISEMORE commercial poly hive. It's one of a dozen hives that we've got. They come complete with the straps, and I'll put a link to all of the MAISEMORE products in the description below. We leave the queen excluder with the hive so I don't lose it really. So we've got a clear perspex cover board or crown board, and the bees are basically pushing it up and making a bee space underneath it themselves. So I'm not too sure exactly how effective that's going to be, but we're going to just leave them to see how they get on. So last week we added a frame of eggs. Just as an aside, the frames are running quite nicely on the poly hive runners, which are actually built into the structure of the box itself, so you don't actually add any additional runners to these boxes. Okay, so this is the frame that we placed in approximately a week ago, and there are no queen cells on here at all. So that would tend to imply that we have a queen, and a viable queen, in this colony. So I'm just going to pick the frame up and check it again. So I've checked through the frame completely, and we've got one or possibly two cells just here that could potentially be queen cells. This one on the top is certainly larger than a drone cell, but it's not in the greatest of positions. So I'm not going to knock that down, but what I am going to do is to just check through the colony again and do a full inspection and see if we can find the queen, and maybe see if there are any other eggs around. Okay, so we've been through the colony twice looking for any evidence of the queen. There are no eggs. There is some young larvae in the frame that we introduced, but again that's from the old queen, and it would appear that the bees are very, very calm, and that would indicate that potentially there is a queen in here. They have produced that one or possibly two queen cells that could be supersedure cells. So because we've got plenty of colonies and we can afford to play around with this colony to a certain degree, what we're going to do is we're going to leave them to continue to produce those queen cells. Hopefully next week we'll have a capped queen cell that we can show you, and we'll just continue to see how things develop. So we're going to leave them, and we'll just close them up, pop the cover board back on, and so this at the moment is where I'm struggling to see how we can pop this back on without trapping lots of bees. But that seems to fit, and the bees underneath seem to have made a bit of a gap for themselves. I think that's as good as we're going to get it. And I'll leave the queen excluder with them, and then the roof on top. So it looks like we still have an ongoing issue with this colony. It would be easy enough to just take the hive apart to try and find the queen, split it down into maybe just a couple of frames, move the hive away from the flying bees so that the flying bees go into another colony, and that will reduce the number of bees that we've got in that box to be able to find the queen. But we're not in any rush. We've got lots of other colonies that we can play around with. It's late in the season now, so we're not relying on this colony to produce any honey. So what I want to do is to just allow them to try and develop those queen cells so that we can show you guys exactly what's happening. And I appreciate that with beekeepers who maybe only have 1 or 2 hives, then this could be a serious situation where your colony is not queen right and you don't have a queen laying eggs and there's no larvae, and you're now at the end of the summer period heading into autumn and starting to panic about maybe losing a colony before the winter. But what I do want to do is to show you the process that the bees are now following, and it looks as if they have produced a supersedure queen cell, at least 1, possibly 2. So we'll catch up with it again next week and see if there's been any further development, and we can show that to you in another video. I hope you're finding these videos interesting. Please do hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. It's that little button down in the bottom corner there, and if you click on that, you'll see a little bell symbol, and if you again click on that one, it'll give you an alert every time we upload a new video. We've also got our Facebook group, which is Stuart's Beekeeping Basics, and that's growing ever larger week by week, so it'd be great to have you along to there. And don't forget, we have our Patreon page, which is where you can support us in producing these videos, and I'll put all of the links down in the description below. So fingers crossed that next week we may have a supersedure queen cell all capped and ready to go. But until then, thanks for watching.